Right then guys, welcome to episode 3. A little bit of walking footage this time. Seas in front of me, trucks behind me. There you go. Down the path of doom after them rays and them huts yet again. It's blowing a force 5 to 6 southwesterly. Sounds like it's a bit rougher than it was the other night. I don't know yet, we'll get down there. High water I think is about 10 PM. Keep on going down. I shall come back to you guys when I'm down here and set up. Right then guys, bit on me tonight. Quickly take you through a quick tackle up beta. Reel, David Salter's Black Gold, awesome bit of kit. Winching power beyond belief, awesome. Rod, WR300, again, power. That's what you need in the rocks. More power, better. I like the tip on them too. It's just great gear. I can't fight them. Anyway, right, rigs. Rigs. Always have lots and lots of rigs tied up. Lots and lots of rigs. Oh, that's not one. Got a single hook, got a panel hook. I do use panels sometimes on the rocks if I know I'm fishing on the cleaner ground, but here it is definitely a bit iffy for the singles. I'm going to be playing with 2 different hooks tonight. One being the Veal's Big Mouth Extra 8/0 flavour, great hook, and the other one is a Mustad Big Gun, a hook I'm in love with Mustad hooks. I've been ever since I started fishing. I went over to Very Vast a couple of years ago, something like that, basically for Chesil Beach, because they kept the point quite well on the shingle. And at the time I wasn't really happy with the Mustad Vikings I was using. They've since upgraded them substantially with the ultra points, and yeah, I'm now going to be going back to, well, I sort of play with the big guns when I'm fishing fish baits, and Very Vast when I'm fishing squid. Tonight I'll be fishing a bit of worm as well. So I have had quite a few ray and a few Huss on Chesil on black lug while I was cod fishing, so I have some cod bait with me. I have some black lug with me, as well as Joey mackerel, and I have Sam's unwashed squid. I double bag it in the freezer to keep the wife happy, because no one likes a stinky freezer, let's face it. It's been out of the freezer about an hour. It's not exactly as pliable as I'd like it. Sometimes I stick it in a sink of water for about 10 minutes before I leave, but it literally was, I'm going, see you later, give her a kiss, and away we go. Got her with my wife. Shout out to Natty Furniture. She's very, very talented, very clever and very beautiful. Right, I'm going to go a bit more of a traditional Chesil cod bait, but I'm hoping I'll drag in a bit of extra stink from the worm. Will bring me in a Huss. I've got one bait already out behind me, and that is baited with whole Joey. That's a Joey minus a fillet, which I'll down here for the next bait in a minute. So I'm going to go for these very newspapery blacks. Yeah, Weymouth Angling set up for the blacks, and he's a great bloke. I've known him years. I'll have to go there very soon because this is my last spool of bait elastic, so I don't want to lose this tonight. What could be absolutely terrible. Not like me to only have one. I'm going to go about 4 or 5. There probably is more in the bag somewhere. I just haven't looked that hard for it yet. Right, so black lug and newspaper sausage. Little hook somewhere. There it is. I'm literally just going to slide my sausage, whoever misses, around the hook. I'm going to make sure the bait sausage stays on the shank of the hook. I'll leave a big tag on my knots, just so I know I've got something really secure to whip the elastic on nice and tight. Right, I'll take my squid. These unwashed are pretty well skinned already. Backbone out, because that can mask the hook sometimes. Now, fly in my face. Some people mount theirs head down. I think that's too bulky around the bend of the hook, so I just nick mine on the top, squidge it in, whip it on. And that is squid and blacks. Now if I was on Chesil, I'd now slide down the panel hook and hook it in through the top end. I'm actually going to save that squid head. I'm going to crack the rockling in that. That's for you, Maddie. put the third rod out in a minute. For a rockling, probably get played by strap eels, but I'll give it a bash. I've only got 2 little leads with me. Don't know if I've only got 2. I've only got about 20 in the box, I don't know why. I only fish 6 ounce and that's it. Anyway, right. Black lug, squid, and hopefully not a bird's nest. So, right. I'm going to bang that out. I'll show you the next bit. One more tip for I cast this one out. Spin your rotten bottom. That will then cartwheel up and get out of the way. No matter what sort of rotten bottom you're using, it just gets that bit of line, this bit of line, bad finger jump. This bit of line is all neatened out of the way, so when it still pops off, bonk, still nice and straight. Give her a spin, let it go for a second, whiz it up round, and it saves a lot of tangles. And because we're hit and run fishing, yet again, I'm only fishing for a couple of hours this evening. Not sure what time it is now. It's now 7:30. I've got about 3 hours fishing to 10:30 before I go home. Go home, drink a gin, see my lovely wife. Right, that's that rod out. About 80 yards, 80-90 yards. Give a little pendulum, bang over the top. Hit it high, let it fly, because the wind is pretty much behind me. Anyway, right, back with this evening. Let me just get 2 of these rigs out. Explain the difference between these hooks. That rig and those rigs. Always have loads of rigs. Right, anyway, the difference between these hooks is, now I've got the berry bass on my left and the mustard on the right. Now, the berry bass has a straight point, but the mustard comes down and it's slightly curvy in. Now I think that is hopefully going to catch me less kelp and less rocks because it's slightly inturned and it does act slightly more like a shinny or a circle, semi-circle hook. It does lip hook a lot better. So we'll try that with fish baits. I'm sticking with the squid and the worm on the berry bass. Give it a go. What more can I do? Right, let's do a fish bait. So you see the fish bait go out, and then I'm gonna get back to the fishing. And we'll get back to the rockling fishing. Yeah, big shout out to Andy Selby of Weymouth Angling Centre. He lives very near me, and he does bring bait back for me from work. It's very, very handy for me. Don't have to go to a shop. Get a bit lazy, bring them up. Jobs are good with great bait. Always got lots of the best bait, best information. I use 2 tackle shops basically. I use him and I use Purbeck Angling in Wareham when I'm down that way. Anyway, on these, very simple. Right on bottom, 12-pound line. I should have done this before I tied the lead on because it's a bit easier. Tie a simple overhand knot, just a granny knot, down near the lead. It should snap there, still give it another bottom bob. There's a little tip. Spin it up, clip it up, and away we go. Lemix leads, buy online, could make my own as well. Like I said in the previous video, they fly like a bullet and they grip like an anchor. Right, I'm going to go for squid and I'm going to have another mackerel bait. Only a few hours, let's go it. Let's give it some large. With a good sharp knife. I'm basically going to cut this about halfway up the gut. About that big. 2 baits, 1, 2. I'll take my hook in just above the spine, full hook through, out, sort of stitch it in a little bit, and I go crazy with this bit. I do sometimes cut a little pocket at the top of the head there. Now you'll see what that does in a second, because when I take the hook in, the bottom of that pocket, out through the nose and eye, wherever, what it does, you can sink the eye of the hook down into that a bit, and it gives you a lovely, lovely hook out. Plenty of hook showing for the big teeth, and the eels, the ray, the bass and everything else I keep listing but not catching until hopefully maybe tonight. The tide is flooding, so I'm yet a different stage of tide on the same mark. This is the last one on this mark for a while, unless I catch him in. But yeah, we'll give it a go. Plenty of elastic around here. I don't really see any rods in the background. Nope, there's no light on them. That's fine. The ratchets are set, so hopefully. And away we go. Right. Nice big, another Joey. Number 2. Now always double pat, even if you're on the rocks, double pat. You've got no excuse to not have gear baited. There's one bait ready to go. Right, another one set up. Again, I'm just going to go for the lug and the squid, the other rod, and hopefully I'll bring it back to a fish. One thing I will say about my rigs is I try and keep them to minimum components. So again, we're back at a 6-ounce lead, 12-pound rod on, breakaway clip of anyone's choice. I use these at the moment. They're very good. Can't find any more supplies at the moment, so I'm going to go back to the Jet Upside Down, Gemini, Link, or a Rotter, something along those lines. Breakaway imp. 150 line. Now there's a difference I do in the middle of my rig. Now that is, I don't put a second swivel in my pulleys on the rocks. I tie a figure of 8 knot. And I pull that down nice and tight because it doesn't affect the strength that much. I use 150 pound for the abrasion resistance for the teeth and the rocks. My lead is 80 pound, my main line's 25 pound. I don't believe that's going to drop this anywhere below 100 pound. It's a figure of 8, tied very well, snug down lovely. Down to the very bass this time because I'm going for worm and squid on this one. Hopefully for something a bit special. Hopefully without too many. Some newspaper attached as well. I don't know whether the bass and that like the Times or the Sun. It's not allowed tits out. Not allowed tits out anymore. I shouldn't say that. Should really edit this bit. 1 minute and 10. Try and remember. Probably won't. But I don't think I've sworn yet, so I'm doing well. 3 black lug, 4 black lug, 4 black lug, and a whole squid again. Saving the head for the rockling bash in a moment. I've just got to get these wound up. The second one's up, running, ready for any bites. My bait's going to be out for about half an hour to start with. Then if very fair bits. Come on. Right, then my baits will be out for about half an hour. I've had no indications I'll change baits. If they come in there minced, spun up, whatever, I'm going to drop down to 20-minute casts. Like I said, I've got about 3 hours fishing. Go home, have a nice gin and tonic. Shower for sure, because I'll be stinking after this. See my beautiful wife. Right, head off for the rockling bash. Shouldn't really put it on the phone holder because it's going to stink as well. Again, hook the squid on the pointy end because that leaves plenty of hook showing for whoever wants to have a bite. Now, sometimes I put a double squid on, I put a squid either side of the lug, but I want a little bit of distance though. I want to make sure I clear the ledge. So new line on my reels, Suffolk Titanium this evening. I was on yellow spot. I think I was on yellow sport in the first video, can't remember. Yeah, great line, nice and thin. Brilliant abrasion resistance. Normally used to use it in a 30-pound straight through, but as I got a bit older, I got a bit more wary of the straight throughs because I ended up losing a lot of tackle on casts where my leader would have been chafed very slightly. There we go, I'm on them. Yeah, my leader would have been chafed very slightly, somewhere near the hook, maybe 20-30 yards up, 20-30 feet up, where it rubs in the rocks. You want to make sure you've got a good heavy line down that end, so always check the lead when it comes in anyway. Yeah, just keep checking, keep changing the baits. Big baits, don't mess about. What you see, or we shall see. But this is the life of a specimen hunter in Dorset on the rocks. It ain't fish every time. I know some big fish came out of Chesil the other day. It's busy again tonight, I've been told. Always around the same place where the blonde rays come out. I've had a blonde this year. I like something a bit different. Right then guys, rockling tactics. Sorry, that song is a bit chilly. Right, rockling tactics. We are with infamous Silstar Traverse Specialist. Brilliant. Ancient rod, but brilliant. Ancient Silstar Shimano 8010 bait rod. Loaded with £15, I'm not overly sure. It's been on there a long time. Right, and then the business end, we have a 3 ounce lead, a couple of half inches in it, in the £15 line. A blood loop in the main 15, and a size 2 must have big gun. To that, I'm going to add a tiny bit of black lug tail, because it was there, and a squid head, which I had in my hand just now. Now I know from my match fishing days back down in Swanage, which was a while ago, the rockling do love a little bit of squid head. They do. They get them down their screechers, they're very happy. And that is a nice little bait. What I'm going to do, make sure the little rockers find it quick. I'm going to snip his eyes. Snip. Snip, because it's still a little bit frozen, it's a little bit crispy. I'm going to chuck that down the edge. I'm going to pause this, bring it back out. Right, so that's the Traverse X out now. So I've got the 2 big rods up in a rest, with the Traverse X lead on the ground, tip just over the top of the cliff, going pop, 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 pop. That's the plan, catch a rockling. Ooh, probably get a strap eel, but we can try. Try and get the fish. The fish will be good on the 3rd attempt. That'd be good, wouldn't it, guys? Fish on the 3rd attempt? Like and subscribe if you reckon it is a good idea. Right, in a bit. Right then, that's the first last fish of the evening. That'd be a rockling in the rocks, I think. Anyway, maybe it's a crab. Anyway, so basically I had to pull for a break on that. Very annoyingly, I lost a lot. I'm running low on leads. So, got three small leads left. So let's go again. 2 ounce egg lead. Just lurking in the bottom of my box for some reason. I'm going to loop it on. Oh, I'm just going to tighten on the loop. Simple overhand, single overhand loop. If that ain't guaranteed a snag up, I don't know what it is. That's a snag and a half. Anyway, back on. Back on with the same rig again. We go with the blood loop. Definitely a fish on there. So plenty of like bend in the rod, and then went slack as a slack thing. And it started bouncing like really high. Yeah, so obviously picked it up and done one. Very, very annoying. Again, same rig, egg lead, blood loop dropper, and a Palomar, not a big gun to it. I've only got some of these left, I've got 3 of these left. About the same amount as I've got lead. So that could work out well for the rockling end off. I might have more hooks in there, not sure. Anyway, pull them on up, very simple. W loop, W line through the ivy hook. Doesn't matter which way you go, front to back, back to front, doesn't matter. What's angle here? Tie a knot in it. Overhand knot, very, very simple. Now, just remain in loop, you thread your hook. It's kind of like the tag end of the overhand knot. Put all above the eye, down nice and slow, make sure it's all nice and even. A little bit of that, and put it on. Right, we go with another lug on it. Bit of lug, squid head, rockling. Oh, hang on. Hang on, I'm on the wrong page. There they are. These have been out the freezer about twice, maybe 3 times now. So getting a bit sticky. Anyway, right, hook there. Another squid head. Slap it on. Needs to be all over the point hook. There's no real finesse with the rockling. They are little bait scrapping rippers. In fact, I'm going to go a little bit of mackerel on it. Little tiny. This is guaranteed a conger probably. Little tiny sliver of mackerel. So I'm match fishing. It's been about 20 years since I've used this. Normally than this big. Poor Joey's what size. Lost half a Joey here. Lost half a Joey somewhere. How that was. Here it is. Right. So my wingman's on his way down. Yeah. Another couple of hours. We'll hit and run. It's better keeping that stay for another hour or 2. We shall see. Rock it on. I don't know if you guys can see that. think we have an inquiry on the rockling rod already. There's big chops up there, big chops left, got a black and squid. Big chops right, has got a half a joey. Big chop right needs a bait change in about 5 minutes, so we'll see what it's like. In the meantime, this is where the excitement is. Go on, rattle, 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 little tug and rattle. There it is. It's probably a blenny dragging that lead straight under a rock. Tug, 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 get under there. Straight under a rock probably. Go drag it in. There I am. Right, here I am. Right. Told you about the rockling twisting stuff up. £150 Rovex 10X on the bit of kelp. Stripped the end and knotted, twisted horrifically around the hook. Look, that was beautifully tied earlier on. Straps. So what I'm going to do, just cut it off, take off that little section of line, retie the hook. Because the last thing you want, real rough too, probably a little strap eel, get hold of that, remove me joey. So my plan with the other hooks ain't working too well so far. So yeah, quickly knot this back on and go again. Still sharp as a pin, but I love a mustache like that. Swift 2-turn grinner. Yeah, I'm going to bring my hands on his way down. I'm hoping he can bring some more rope. So I didn't realise the other night when I made my drop now, I need about 50 feet of rope, and I got about 40. Oops. Right, tie it back on, damn sight straighter. Right, we go for a joey tail on it this time. Same again. Am I going to go in now? No, I'm going to whop it on. Whop it on. No messing. Plenty of turns around either hook and the knot, because that is where it keeps most of the oomph for the cast on. Right, and I'll wind it right up, right at the end, excuse me. The Chinese fin is very nice. Well, mostly nice. And come out here, could be terrible. The missus said some of the chicken was blue. Yeah, I'll eat that bit. Oh well, right. Half a joey, 8/0 big gun, £150 line, and oh, I lost me lead. Back on another lead, back to it, back we go. So yeah, just recast my left hand rod. I just swing it this time miles to the left by accident. Anyway, rockling rod, doing not a lot. I suspect it's been nibbled or something looking, and it's under a rock. Two lovely big baits hanging up there. Two compressors sat doing bugger all at the moment. They've done bugger all night. I had one bait mullered, and the other one just came back in attached, so still very quiet. Very, very quiet. Hopefully with a bit more flood, we should start going in a minute. Be alright. Let's change up, Amy. Right, hope you can see me a minute. Let's try bottom half the area. Change the mackerel bait. Now about 25 minutes. Gotta get up my ass again. Something moving. Nope, nothing. It's come out the sand quite nicely. Rockling rod's bashing away, just so I picked this one up, of course. I've hit the lead back, so I'm running low now. there's a lot for this evening. Barely been mullered. Been mullered, but not dramatically. Go again. Double patting with the clips, everything ready to go. I'm gonna put this one out back in a sec. In fact, I'll try and get myself casting. Let's have a go at this. Very quiet tonight again, lads. Very quiet, very, very quiet, guys. Lads and lasses, whoever's watching. Yeah, it's odd. Oh, this mic does a bit more than this. It's got a camera on. Yeah, baits basically come in as I put it out there. 5 black lug and a big sausage with a whole squid. It's come back literally exactly how I put it out. It's never what you want to find. About 80-90 yards up the plateau. Yeah, I think there's anything there to eat it that has sniffed out 5 blacks and a whole squid. But obviously not. Keep going, a couple more chucks. Probably not going to bed a little bit early tonight because it is that dire. I put the rockling rod away because I've run out of little leads. Could have tied on a rock, I suppose, but I think it might have been crabs or small fish dragging it, not real small fish, blennies, etc. Dragging the bait underneath the rock. There's been a couple little taps on it. Snag solid. I think really feel like a rockling. But that's the baits. Put them out. 5 black lug, 4 or 5. They're not very big ones. And a whole Sam's bait and more squid. Leave the point hanging out like that. Snip the end of that off. Let all the scent out. Keep going. Keep going. That's all we keep doing. Keep going. Try and produce a fish. Or even a bite. Having a bite this evening would be good because it's that bad. At least the other nights I've actually had bites. Tonight it has been nothing. Not even a rattle. Yeah, so that's that. Not even a rattle this evening so far. It ain't good, but that is specimen hunting on some of these more challenging marks. I mean, I could sit on Chesil Beach. I will have a 5 in my face, which ain't unusual for me to fish it like that. I actually prefer it like that. Yeah. Could have gone and catch a cod from there. Could try and catch a mouse from here. Still got a whole wrap of blacks I haven't used yet. Might do a giant sausage. I have her up there. There's good. Or I've got some Sipsmith at home. It is Saturday night. I think I'll give it those 2 chucks, see what they do. If they do anything, I might buy another one. If they don't, you'll see me in the truck. Just coming up, oh God, just coming up with the plan for next week, guys. I'm not going to be fishing where I am at the moment, I don't think. I'm going to head to one of my older marks, about 15 miles that way. Had some big eels off them rocks, so we'll try them. That one night my mate had a 28, I had a 35 and a 15, and I think another big double as well. In about 3 hours fishing, sat on one rock, get caught by the tide, great fun. Get down there, have a bash. It's either me there or probably Chesil. Have a little Chesil, See if I can find a snake on the shingle. See what happens. Last two chucks are out at the moment. I got timer on for about 5 minutes. I think it was 7 minutes just now. It's about 5 because I'm just jabbering to you guys. Yeah. Motionless. Well, not completely. Wind's blowing them. Yeah, not great. Not even a rockling rattle now. Just totally rubbish. Right, speak to you in the truck. So just now guys, can wind them in. See what happens. Not a lot, I doubt. Pack this one up and wind the other one up. Yeah, mackerel bait's barely been touched. Barely touched. Rubbish. Should have stayed at home. We'll have the wingman tomorrow. Bass rod. It's in the bottom. How much gone, Pop? What I did was I put a lot of pressure on the rod and just pulsed it a few times. I reckon my leader knot's gone. Pretty rare for me to lose a spider hitch. The rest coming out, I reckon I was over the ledge. That was over the ledge. Hey ho, that's fishing. So guys, that's out there, another one, little hit and run. It's now 10:05. Gave up in the end because it was terrible. It was just absolutely dire. Bait's coming back untouched. Not a knock on the rod, nothing. Absolutely terrible. So I'm gonna go home now, regroup and get out again next week. Get my gear sorted out again because it's a mess. I'll do a couple of videos. I'll do a video this week about rigs, how to tie my pulley rigs, and that's it. How I organise myself for me hit and runs. Because organisation is key. Gotta have plenty of rigs, plenty of leads, just know where everything is, have the reels and everything ready to go. I'll go through all of that this week, I reckon, and yeah, let's go. Time for gin.